This demo vignette will cover item number 5 from your demo script, which is the PO change order. We're going to start by putting in a one-line purchase order to buy some legal services from a vendor, and then we'll make a couple of changes to those. And at the end, I'll show you the revision history, and you can see the full audit trail of every change that's been made. So I've signed in now as Calvin Roth, and we're going to look at procurement and enter a new PO. When I click on the Create Order button, the system pops up for me a bit of information for me to identify who the supplier is. I've got type ahead, so I just type a portion of the supplier's name, and the system sorts through the vendor file and pulls up the suppliers that match. I click to select, click Create, and the system pulls in some default information for me into the header. Items like the location, where the supplier is, currency, how we handle shipping and freight. The system will default in payment terms, or I can make changes to those as well. And then we come down and add the line item. So first line I'm going to add is for legal services. I've categorized that, so I've got a search here that will help me pull in and make sure that we're charging the right account. I'm going to buy 1,000 hours at a price or a rate of $100 per hour. So the total purchase order amount is for $100,000. When I submit, the system gives me the confirmation telling me that it was submitted for approval. So I realized that I made an error. So the rate is not actually $100 an hour, it's $120 an hour. So I'm going to make that change. I'm going to inquire on my purchase order. And when I come in, I have this little edit or action button that allows me to do several different things. So I could freeze, put the PO on hold, I could cancel it altogether, but I'm going to edit. It gives me a little warning, making sure I want to make changes to it. So I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge that I realize it's an edit. And I'm going to come down to the line and I'm going to update that rate. So instead of 100, I put in 120. It updates the dollar amount for me. And you can see at the top of the header, it's keeping track of this change. So I know that I'm working on the first change order. I've entered in a description, and it's tracking for me the dollar amount of that change. When I click Submit, it's going to submit that again for approval if required. Right? I'm going to make one more change. I'm just going to add another line to add some audit services here. So same thing. I come in, I hit the Actions button, I do an edit, I acknowledge that I realize I'm making a change. I'm going to add another line, and I'm going to code it as audit services, and we're going to buy 20 hours at a rate of $300 an hour, or $6,000, total for that line. Once again, the system's going to track for me the amount of change. I know that I'm in my second revision for this purchase order. I'm adding a description of exactly what I'm doing, and I'm going to submit. Okay? I get the confirmation. Now, let's go in and take a look at the audit trail. So come back into this order, click on the Actions button, and this time I want to take a look at the revision history. And this is going to summarize for me all of the changes that have been made step by step. So revision 0 is the original entry of that document, and I can see the amount that was put in originally. I updated the rate on that first line, and then I added additional services. So if I continue to make changes, I could come to the rev history here and see every single change, who made it, and when.